Okay, welcome back. We're ready now to get started for exercise number 2. And we're going to get started by doing our sketches of the ellipses on different planes. Okay, so let's get started on that. So we need to start at the top plane, click on it, and then click on sketch. All right, after you have that done, click on the ellipse. And let's go ahead and get started by clicking on the origin over here, expanding the first side of the ellipse. Make sure it is parallel, make sure it snaps right on the right side of the origin. And then just click anywhere here at the bottom. And let's go ahead and change the radius number 1 to 2 and radius number 2 to 1. Okay, and again, those X and Y are the locations of the center of your ellipse, which we're going to keep it at the origin and keep it at 0, 0. After you have that done, click on OK over here. And let's go ahead and create now the other planes that we want the ellipses on. So to do so, you need to exit your sketch, all right, and click on top plane. Make sure you have your top plane selected, and then go to Insert, Reference Geometry, and Plane. Now let's go ahead and put this in isometric view so we can see it a little bit better. Now you want to make sure that everything is about 2 inches apart, okay? So you want your planes to be 2 inches apart. That's the distance between one plane and the next, okay? And you want to create 3 planes. So if I zoom out and I increase the number of planes to 3, you're going to see 3 planes get created. Basically, we're going to draw a bigger ellipse on this plane, a smaller ellipse or a circle actually on this one, and then again a bigger one on this one, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on that. So after you create your 3 planes, and all I've done is create a plane while I have my top one selected, Solidworks will automatically click one that is or create one that is parallel to the plane that you have selected, and then the distance feature will automatically be selected. Okay, now there's other features you can do. You can click on parallel if you want, but parallel will keep it at that same level. Perpendicular will move it 90 degrees over it. For example, if I do 90 like that, it would keep it 90 degrees and perpendicular to the other planes. Okay, coincident will keep it on that same plane again. You can also create an angle for it. Okay, but we're going to keep it at distance. All right, you can also flip it if you want to create them from the top to the bottom. You're welcome to do the vase from the top to the bottom as well. We're going to start from the bottom to the top. And I'm creating 3 planes. After you have that done, click on OK over here. And let's go ahead and start creating our sketches on all the planes. So I'm going to right click over here on my plane number 1 and click on sketch. And then I'm going to make it so I can see the top right now. There you go. Zoom out a little bit and let's go ahead and create our second ellipse. Now the second ellipse is going to be bigger. Let's go ahead and select that anywhere over here. Let's go ahead and do 2.5, and then the second radius I want it to be the same. Okay, so I want the width for that second radius to be the same, but that to be bigger. Okay, and we can change these a little bit later if you want to make the vase look a little bit better, even after you create the sweep. Okay, so after you get that done, click on OK, and there you go. You created your second sketch over here. Go ahead and click on end or exit the sketch, and let's go ahead and create one on the second plane. And that one is going to be smaller, okay? But go ahead and create a circle. Now the second one, this one's going to be a circle that I want, okay? It's not going to be an ellipse, and I'll show you why in a little bit. So create a circle, but don't allow it to snap at the end point, because then it will fix your circle. I'm not doing that because I want to be able to change the size of that circle later if I don't like how it looks like. Now go ahead and click on that and then give it a radius of 1. Again, the reason I do this because as you can see right now, it does not give it a relation. If I snap it at that point that gives it a relation, that means it will not allow me to come back and change the size of the circle unless I delete the relation and then change the size. But I want to be able to change it later if I want to. So go ahead and just make it a 1-inch radius and then click on OK. Alright, and for the final one, I'm going to exit my sketch, and for the final one over here for plane number 3, click on sketch and then click on circle again. I'm going to keep it as a circle, and I'm going to expand this a little bit bigger over here, and I'm going to make that circle 1.5, enter, and then click on OK, and then end the sketch. Now as you can see, if I start to move this up, you're going to see that you've drawn your sketches on different planes, and that's exactly what we wanted to do. We created these 3 planes so we can create 3 different sketches on them. Okay, so now we're ready to do our loft. All right, so we created this, and now we're ready to do our loft. Let's go ahead and do that. So go ahead and click on Loft over here. And then what you want to do over here under the profiles, it allows you to select all the lofts, all the planes, or all the sketches that are going to be connected to a loft. Let's go ahead and first select them all, and then I'll show you something neat. So I'm going to start by selecting them, and as you can see, I'm selecting them at different places. Okay? So let's say I did this. Now the preview is gone, and I'll show you why in a second. And just go ahead and click on OK to accept the loft. Okay, now the feature could not be created because it would produce self-intersecting geometry, and that's why you don't see a preview. So if you actually just take this point right here and move it up a little bit to the right side, the preview will show up. Now you're able to accept it. Now as you can see, the vase looks all messed up. It actually looks twisted. If you actually rotate this, it looks a little bit twisted, and it doesn't really look right. Now the way to make this look right, you want to make sure that you are parallel to one of the planes. And what I did is I made sure I'm in the front plane over here. Okay, and then went to edit features. Okay, then what I'm going to do, because now I am normal to the front plane, these are points that if they are not placed all aligned in on one plane, for example, or one side, they will twist apart. So as you can see, there's the plane is going from here to here to here to the top, so it's twisting the part all the way around as it's going up, hence why these lines are all skewed like that. So let's go ahead and take these points by clicking on them, left clicking and dragging them all the way to one side. All of them. Okay? And as you do that, you're going to see the vase now all of a sudden appears really nice. Okay? And click on OK, and let's go ahead and see that vase. Now look at this. All of a sudden your vase looks a lot nicer than it was before. Okay? Now looking at this vase, it looks, you know, it looks big on the bottom, but then it looks too big maybe on the top. And maybe you want to change that. And let's go ahead and learn how to do that. Alright, so you've created your loft. How do you go back and edit that? Let's go back to my sketch number 5, and as you can see, it highlights in orange. And make sure that it has a minus on the left side of it, which means that the sketch has no relation and is not fixed. It's a floating sketch, which means you can edit that. So if you edited any of these sketches and it doesn't have a minus sign on it, you're gonna notice that it does not change. It does not actually change the sketch because it's fixed. And you need to delete the relation or change the relation before you're able to edit the sketch. So let's go ahead and click on the sketch. Oops, I clicked on it twice. So click on that and edit sketch. And go ahead and click on this circle, and let's make this circle 0.75, for example. And we made it a lot smaller now, okay? And click on OK. Alright, and then click on End Sketch. And you're going to see that your drawing now or your vase now is a lot thinner over here. But let's go ahead and change the top to be a little smaller too, because now the top is much bigger. Let's go ahead and go to sketch number 6, edit sketch, click on the circle, and let's change that to 1.25. Or let's even change it to 1. Let's see how it looks like when you change it to 1. And click on OK. Click on End Sketch, and there you go. So now we have a nice, more visually appealing vase to look at. And we got our loft done. So there you go. This concludes this exercise. We've created the body of our base. And in our next exercise, we're going to be learning how to create the fillet, which we'll be calling the face fillet, as well as the shell that we'll be creating inside this vase right here.